Hey, Para.
Hello and welcome to Sacred Pause with your host, myself, Kelsey Keil. This is the podcast for anyone looking for a break, a quiet moment to just be, without any other obligations other than to get grounded, get in your heart, get out of your head, and to be still in whatever it is you're struggling with and desperately wanting to heal. Oftentimes, all we need in order to feel at peace is a sacred pause. Is there something you've been struggling with? Whether it's a fear that just won't seem to go away, or a relationship that just isn't how it used to be? Are you going through some sort of a change and it's super uncomfortable? Well, I made this episode just for you, to remind you that you are loved, supported, and you've got this. Hey everyone, so happy and so grateful to be here, to be healthy, to be able to spend my time on something so special to me and where my whole heart is. And that's with you, with all of humanity, with the whole world and every single thing in it, the good and the bad. So grateful I have space to talk about topics that I believe can really change people's lives, conversations that can give people the lives they only can dream about. Yesterday I posted on my Instagram, and if you aren't already following me, please go ahead and do that. If you're getting anything from my podcast, I promise you'll get a lot from my Instagram as well. I post on it daily. I spend quite a bit of time on it. I post things that will always get you out of your head and into your heart, into your body. So follow me at Kelsey W. Keil. Keil is spelled Keil. I'll put that in my show notes as well. So yesterday I posted a quote of mine, a message that I felt so called to share, and I'll start this episode off by reading it. How can we be calm when everything around us is literally spinning and everything is happening on its own and there's nothing we can do about it? This could be the scariest thing in the world, or it can be the most exciting. You choose. I believe in the most broad sense that this sums it all up. Yes, we have things that come up basically all day that put us in a fear state, but really, it's not these little things that accumulate. Really, what we are really worried about, really fearful about, anxious about, is the truth, which is that we actually have zero control of what is going on in this world, in our lives, and all around us. Can we control how we react to what happens, and can we control the actions we take? Yes, 100%. But that only has so much impact on what is destined to happen. I've had OCD and anxiety for most of my life, and I've talked about this a lot on here because it's such a huge part of my story, my life, and I am actually extremely grateful for it because although it's very hard most times, it shows me and teaches me so much about myself and about the world. Specifically, it has showed me that we actually have no control of the world, no control of others, no control of what happens, what's ahead on our path. I've spent all of my life seemingly controlling everything, and I'm talking everything. You name it, I've tried to control it. Everything from triple checking if I locked a door, triple checking if my alarm to wake up is correct, triple checking if my dog's collar isn't on too tight. It's just crazy. Triple checking if I texted this person correctly, if I said the right thing. And still, after checking 3, 4, 5 times, sometimes more, I'll still be thinking about it. I've checked these things so many times to make sure I did it right, did it correctly. Sometimes I'll check over 10 times, and sometimes until I make myself physically sick. Fortunately, I haven't gone that far in probably over 2 years now, because I've learned and grown so much, so immensely since then. But I'm sharing this with you because that was me, quote unquote, controlling to make myself seemingly feel better short term, as fast as possible. It's like if I check that this email to this person 10 times, check that the wording is perfect, the grammar is perfect, that it's sent correctly to the correct email address, then there's no way anything negative or unexpected will come from it. And again, I would do this in basically every area of my life, big and small. It was exhausting, anxiety-ridden, and depressing. On days I was super deep in this and with no awareness that I was being literally controlled by my fears in all the ways, being controlled mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The next day I would be super depressed because anxiety OCD is very much connected to depression, and I had depleted all of my energy. So the next day I was left hopeless, helpless, sad, and depressed. Days like these were so hard for me. But because I was so deep in the pain and suffering of all of it, of my fears, people around me's fears, the world's fears, I was able to transmute this very fragile and afraid energy into quite the opposite. So what I actively decided to do back then and still do today is, instead of quadruple checking things to make sure it's perfect and that nothing could go wrong, instead of feeding that beast, feeding those fears, instead I just sit with them. I just continue on with my day as relaxed and calm as possible, even though sometimes on the inside I'm in excruciating pain, excruciating fear. And I'm to the point now where I'll be really feeling it internally, and people around me, Paige, friends, family, won't even know that anything's wrong. And days like these are a huge success to me. And this could seem like I'm faking being happy or something like that, but it's much more than that, much more powerful than that. Instead, I'm choosing powerfully that I'm not going to let these fears take over me, take over control of my actions, of my life, because I know where it takes me when I do let the control take over me. It takes me to a dark place where I'm not safe, where anything can hurt me, anything. It takes me to a place where I'm weak and vulnerable in a bad way, and incapable of handling anything coming my way, incapable of handling anything that's not perfect. But I know that I am the most powerful being in my life, in my field. And while I don't have control over everything around me, I can still be calm, still be relaxed, still be open and joyful, because I have full control over what really matters and what really makes a difference in my day-to-day life and my world. And that's myself. And more of that, I'm clear that actually there's no such thing as control, only trust. And I trust myself. I trust the people around me. I trust the world, because I know that when I'm in the trusting and faithful space rather than fear and worry, I'm flying, I'm free. And that's where I'm the best version of myself. That's when I'm the person that will make a huge impact on this world, spreading love to myself, to my friends, to my family, to my community, and to my world. I'm full of energy because I'm doing less fixing and more being. And when you're being, your energy is free to flow, free to fly. And energy doesn't get tired as long as you're feeding it correctly. So the moment you're trying to fix, stop, breathe, put a hand on your heart and say, I trust myself and I trust the universe, and feel those emotions that come up so they can be set free. Don't fix them, quote unquote, fix them so you can feel better quicker. If you do that, they'll come back again, and next time it'll be even more uncomfortable and more deep in there. The trick is to learn to be with your discomfort, not fix it. And fixing it can look like mental gymnastics, where you go through every scenario in your head and double check that you've done everything good, everything perfect. So you're all good. You can relax now. You triple checked everything. Do not do that. It'll make you sick. Or again, quote unquote, fixing can look like getting yourself busy by anxiously cleaning the house or anxiously smoking or drinking. You can do all that later when you are present and you can actually enjoy it. It's kind of like when you're talking to a friend and they're not in a good place and they're just telling you a story. If you immediately just go to fixing, that's annoying. Don't do that, because what they want is to be heard, be seen, be supported, not just be fixed right away, right off the bat. Actually being healed takes time, takes love, and takes space. And that's what you're giving yourself by sitting with these fears and feeling them. Not just doing your go-to and pushing them down like you've most likely done your whole life if you're anything like me. You want change, real change? This is how you get it. Sit with your discomfort, sit with your fears, because that's the only way to get rid of them. It's the only way to set them free. And sit with them because you can. You are strong enough to deal with them now. They wouldn't be coming up if you weren't ready to handle them. And please try to relax, try to be chill, because these feelings are so normal. Every other human being in this world is going through the same thing. I don't care what they say, they're going through the same thing. They may have it stronger times than others, but they're going through the same thing on and off, just like you. It's called life and it's called being human. You've got this. You are 1,000,000 times stronger than you even think. Think back to a time when you thought you were the strongest. You're 1,000,000 times stronger than that. I promise you. And you're doing such a great job. Keep it up. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you next week. And again, one last time. Well, I'll probably say it way more times. But for today, there's no such thing as control, only trust. Trust yourself, love yourself, truly, and forget about the rest. Talk to you next week. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode. I love and appreciate you more than you know. If you think this episode could help a friend or family member, please share it with them. I need all the help I can get to spread this message of love, peace, and healing to this big, beautiful world. And if you're really enjoying listening to this podcast, please leave me a rating and review. It helps me out so, so much. And if you want some more of my content before my next episode, follow me on Instagram at Kelsey W. Keil for daily love and inspiration. So grateful for you. Talk to you soon.